My name's Daryl Newsom. I'm the immediate past president. Kevin Gutzel has taken my place. I'm a practice owner, a dispensing optician, a contact lens optician, and an SMC tech lab technician. On top of that, I also am an examiner, practical and theory for ABDO. I've taught in the past. I've taught at Bradford College, I've taught at Plymouth University, and I've taught on behalf of ABDO abroad, Malaysia and India predominantly, and I've been on the board for 8 years. I am now off the board. I'm no longer a director. I'm immediate past president, so I become advisor to the board.
Okay, thank you, Daryl. So turn to you now, Lorraine.
Okay, hi. So my name's Lorraine Bleasdale. I'm on my second term of the board. I've been in optics 30 years. I am a dispensing optician, obviously. I work 2 days in practice, but I've also recently started a job for vision care for homeless people. So I'm a clinic development manager, helping to set up new clinics for people experiencing homelessness.
Great, thanks, Lorraine. And then finally, Brenda.
Okay, hello, my name is Brenda Rennie. I'm the new Vice President for ABDO. I'm a dispensing optician and work in an independent practice. I sit as on the Executive Board for Optometry Scotland, and I'm also a practical examiner for ABDO. I only work part-time in my own practice and work the rest of the time doing different things.
Great, thank you. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a sense of the the backgrounds of the board members we have joining us today. Although, as Daryl said, you've just stepped off the board, but obviously bring a lot of experience from the time you have spent on the board, including as the chair over the last couple of years. So we'll get into some questions now, and then, as I say, please post any questions that you've got in the chat, and then we'll come back to those at the end. I'll turn to you first, Daryl. And just to open up, could you just start by explaining, in broad terms, what the board does? What's its role?
Well, I suppose the main role of any board of directors is to represent the membership. First and foremost, that is our role. That's what we're there to do. Sometimes that's very easy. Sometimes that's really straightforward. Some questions that there is only one answer that the membership would give you. Sometimes it's not so easy. Sometimes you have to go out there and talk to the members to find out what they think and what they're asking for. So the first thing is definitely representing the membership. We also have the opportunity in the boardroom to influence and change the strategic direction of the association. At the end of the day, the association is a membership organisation, and if we're not representing membership, if we're not doing the right thing by the membership, then it's an opportunity to voice that opinion and to give it to the senior management that maybe we should be doing things slightly differently. Then we have the opportunity to oversee what is going on. So the vice president and the president attend a meeting every month with the senior staff. So we know what the staff priorities are, what they're doing. We can see the opportunities for collaboration and mutual development. And we generally see that the senior staff are following the direction of the strategy set out by the board previously. Does that make enough sense?
Yes, I think that's very helpful just to kick us off. And as you say, the board sets the strategic direction, and that's reflected in the strategic plan that we have. So that sets out our priorities, looking ahead 5 years. Then each year we have an annual plan which explains what we'll be doing in the year ahead. So just to be open with members about what those priorities are. We've talked about the board's role. What have you found particularly rewarding in terms of being a board director?
I think the thing that stands out for me, and this comes from conversations with other members, is when I try and meet members wherever I can. We go to live events. I've even been known to walk into practices and just say, "You're a dispensing optician," and talk to members about what they would like to see us doing. And you often find the frustration. It's a phrase I've often heard from members is what you ought to be doing. And that's great. They've got an opinion of what we ought to be doing. But being on the board, you know what's actually happening. And you know that is actually happening, but I can't tell you about it, or it hasn't happened yet. There's not developed enough yet. And understanding what is happening in the background, for me, has taken away all of that frustration. And I find that personally particularly rewarding.
Okay, so getting that deeper understanding of the association's work and then be able to influence and shape that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. All right, good. So yeah, I'll turn to you now, Brenda. I mean, it'd be helpful just to know to begin with, why did you stand for election to the board in the first place? What was your motivation?
My motivation to begin with was to really been inspired by past presidents. I've known quite a few of the past presidents. They've given me support, they've encouraged me to be involved more with ABDO in different areas in ABDO, and they've really just given me the confidence to go for it and to just take that leap of faith and try your best for the members, really.
Okay, good. So that was the essence of it, really, sort of being inspired by the people to think, yes, I can do it. You know, I'll give it a go. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I suppose looking ahead to, you know, the election process for this year, if people are thinking about standing, you know, what advice would you give to them?
I would say if you're thinking about it at all, definitely go for it. Don't think twice. There's everything to gain. There's nothing to lose. It's a whole new experience. You might think sometimes, like I thought, am I worthy? Am I not worthy? But people are really nice. They're encouraging. They're supportive. And if you need training in any area, you will be provided by that training. So it's so good to be involved, to know what's going on, to be involved in the decision making. For every little part that ABDO makes a success or change, we only see the little bit on the top of the iceberg. We don't see all the strategy, the work, and everything that goes all behind it. We only see the little bit at the top, and it's really interesting to see the challenges to get a little improvement. It's a lot, and it is worthwhile.
Okay, so don't hesitate. Don't think, you know, it's not for me. And I mean, hopefully the introductions that we had earlier will give people a sense there's not really a typical board member. You know, you all bring different experiences to the role. So okay, so that's encouraging. Just go for it, really, I think was your message, wasn't it?
Definitely.
All right, and then I mean, you've talked about, and Daryl touched on this as well, you know, getting that insight into how the organization works and be able to influence that. But I mean, do you have an idea of how it could help members more broadly in their careers by getting the experience of being on the board?
I think if you have experience on the board, it shows that your dedication to the profession. It shows that you're totally involved in it and you believe in the profession. And I think it shows leadership qualities in employment. I've only ever worked for the same company, so it's never made any difference to me. I've been happy with where I am. But if you want to develop or move further into different career development with optometry, it really, really does help to do that, I think. I think it opens up doors.
Yeah. And it's good experience of being a non-executive director, which is often something people haven't done before joining the board, which then means you can go on to do other similar things in the future. Yeah, good. So I'll go to you now, Lorraine, and ask you the same question I asked Brenda. So yeah, what was your motivation? Why did you put yourself forward?
Okay, so for many years, I was in Area 3 committee. So ABDO used to be separated by areas. So I was Northwest. So I used to help with my colleagues. We used to set up CPDs. It wasn't all of them, but you know, training and things for the members. I really enjoyed it. I used to go to the consultation days every year, just to see what was happening, keep up with everything. And then in 2019, an opportunity came to be a board member, and a few people suggested that I put my name forward, but I thought, well, I'm not an examiner, or but they said it doesn't matter, go for it, and I'm really glad I did, because it's such a proud moment when you actually get told that you are a board member and you're there representing other fellow dispensing opticians, and you can help to shape the profession. So yeah, it was a really proud moment. Yeah, so I'd definitely recommend it.
Excellent. Okay, well that's a really positive encouragement from you and from Brenda. I mean, you mentioned earlier on that you work in practice, you have a role now with vision care for the homeless. I mean, how have you managed to combine those other things you do with being on the ABDO board?
I'm very busy. But yeah, I mean, it helps having two really good employers that basically you get you have to do 6 meetings a year, and you do get those at the beginning of the year, so you can put them in your diary and you can work around them, you can plan around them. So the other thing with that as well, I've found now I've been on the board, I've met people that I probably wouldn't have met before. So it's really good for networking, especially with my new job. I'm meeting people that I wouldn't have met. And yeah, I just find it, say, for networking, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm learning new skills. I can't think, it's all good. There's nothing negative about it. Everybody on the board is so friendly, welcoming, and as Brenda said, training is available as well, because when I first came on the board, I was thinking I'm not going to know anything, but you listen, and then you start to get more confident in meetings, contribute, and you get so much out of it. And there's so much going on in the background, again, as Brenda said, and you can see the changes. It's making a difference. So yeah, it's all great and very positive. I'm very glad I did it.
Okay, so you're busy but not regretting it,
But no, not at all, not at all.
And as you say, we plan the full board meetings in advance, so you can fit your other commitments around those meetings, and and there are benefits from being on the board in terms of what the other things you do as well, from what you said.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can change. I'm lucky because with my work I can be quite flexible, so I can change my days. It works for me. It works for me.
Okay, good.
I think actually quite a lot of employers are actually like the fact that people are on the board. It shows commitment, and it shows that you are interested in what you're doing and you want to better yourself. So
and hopefully contribute to the way that the profession develops as well.
Absolutely. Well, we're here for the members. That's the bit that you're proud of, that you're there representing them. So
excellent, thank you. All right, so I'll go to Brenda now, and I mean, could you share your experience of being on the board and your sense of what's involved in being a board member?
Yeah, like Lorraine, I am busy. I still work in practice. I do sit as an ABDO representative on Optometry Scotland executive and council meetings. These are really good meetings to attend because it gives you a better understanding of the policy behind optics, and it just gave me a better grounding, I think, for when I started on the board, and just gives you a wider field of what's going on, and it's just understanding the big picture rather than just small bits. I manage my time very well. You get all the dates, or most of the dates, at the start of January, so you can really plan out your diary. I have arrangements with my work that I have the dates set ahead, and they allow me the time of work to be able to fulfill these requirements. So all in all, it's just everybody helping each other to be able to do it. But it's not too onerous. It's really enjoyable.
Yeah, okay, that's good to hear. And when you mentioned attending board meetings, it's worth saying as well that you get sent papers in advance that you need to read and digest. So there is a need to build in time to do that, I suppose. So as you say, you do have to be organised and plan your time, I guess. Yeah.
We do have papers to read. You do get enough time to read the papers, but you
Yeah.
really need to go over them to have a better understanding for the board meeting. And as long as you put the time in, you'll get the most out of it for the board.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, thank you. So, well, Darryl, I'll turn to you and I'll ask you in a moment about ABDO's current priorities, the things we're working on. But before I do that, I mean, it'd be quite nice if you could share your view on what's involved in being a board member and how you've enjoyed that. I suppose as president, that's meant involvement in a wider range of things.
Yeah, I mean, the presidential role and the vice presidential role are lovely jobs to have, and there's only one every 2 years, so you get 50 presidents per century. It's not everybody who gets that opportunity. I'm deeply grateful for it. But I think one of the things that comes across from both Lorraine and Brenda, and I forgot to mention, rather typically, is the support that the other board members give you. When I first started, I think the first meeting I came out of thinking, what have I committed myself to? But the old hands are still there, and Brenda and Lorraine have been around a while. I'm still going to be around for 2 years. There are people there to help and guide, and for somebody who's thinking of applying and maybe getting that imposter syndrome going on, I would dispel that completely and say you'd be well supported, you'd be well looked after.
Right. Okay. That's good to know. And yeah, so I think it'd be good to share with people, a sense of what ABDO is working on at the moment. What are the things that we're aiming to deliver for members?
Well, at the moment, we've got quite a lot going on. Members might not be so aware of our progress made in becoming an apprenticeship provider. That's been a huge term of work. We're gifted in as much as our distance learning program fits into the apprenticeship program very nicely. So we haven't had to restructure the course very much, but the amount of work that the senior staff have had to do to apply to become an apprenticeship provider, an endpoint assessor, etc., has been fascinating from our point of view. But from the members' point of view, launching ABDO as an apprenticeship, the FBDO program as an apprenticeship, is a huge step forwards, and I can't believe will not make us more successful. I think that's going to be a massive thing, and hopefully, I think we've got our ducks in a row. I think we will be launching that this year. I don't believe there's anything will stop us. I think we will have our first apprenticeship starting in September this year. So that's been a massive priority. We've also, from membership engagement, found that they wanted further qualifications. So there's been a professional certificate in paediatric eye care developed. Hasn't actually been finished yet. We're right on the cusp of delivering that. And I think, well, I know there's a lot of interest in that. I've got 3 members of my own staff desperately want to be on the first cohort to join that course. And that's been in the making for perhaps 18 months, 2 years. So we're just getting to the point of that. We've recently done a membership engagement program where we did a survey of members online, and then a company that we've employed, John Hall, is it John? Yes, it is John, isn't it? Has telephoned members and ex-members and tried to find out more about the engagement of the membership and what they want from the organisation. It is, at the end of the day, a membership organisation, so we are very member-centred at the moment. And we've also developed a hybrid clinical conference, which will be coming out. I'm embarrassing myself now. I think it's going to be October.
That's October time, isn't it? Yeah.
I was right. Good. There's going to be a hybrid conference there, and it's just that's the sort of stuff that goes on in the preparation that the membership perhaps is frustrated that they don't see what we're doing, or what the staff are doing, because it's not the board members that develop these things, it's the senior staff. And they've been working really hard and have made really good progress in the last 12 months.
Excellent. Okay, so good. I mean, the clinical conference is something we did for the first time last autumn, and then this year we're planning to build on it by still doing 2 days at the NRC in Birmingham, but then adding in webinars in the run up to those 2 days of workshops, and then we'll be following on with some peer discussion workshops online as well. So we're trying to broaden it out so that it's accessible to a larger number of members this time around, which is something that I think members were keen to see. Yeah, that gives us a good sense of what we're working on at the moment. Those are all priorities we set out in our annual plan for this year. So, I mean, could you give us a sense of how board members have contributed to those projects, or how they are contributing? What would you say about that?
I think the board members are not the managers. I mean, at the end of the day, Alistair is the chief exec, and he has a team of senior staff. We are not the micromanagers. We are the overseers. So our contribution tends to be a little bit naggy. It tends to be, we watch what's going on. I've been to every senior staff meeting for the last 4 years, and you know what the staff are doing and what they're engaged in. And Alistair, from our conversations, which have been regular and frequent, it's when you see something that we've said we're going to do and it's not happening, and I then nag you, and then you nag the staff, and then the whole thing goes. The board engagement is very much an oversight, and as it should be. The general day-to-day management is for the senior staff and yourself.
Yes, and I would say when the board is sort of taking a view on priorities or reviewing progress, that's based on understanding of the constraints that we have as an organisation. So I'm thinking in particular about the financial constraints. So you have to have that understanding of our financial position, and that often means making choices about what we do, because we don't have limitless resources. We don't want to increase membership fees any more than we absolutely have to. So the board can help to determine what we do focus on and what we do seek to deliver. So yeah, that's part of the board's role. And actually, Lorraine mentioned training. Finance is an area where we have provided training for board members in the last year. So I think that's quite a good example. All right, so thanks, Darryl. I'll go to Lorraine now and just ask if there's anything you'd like to add about the work that ABDO is doing at the moment for members. Any thoughts on that?
Darryl touched it with the survey that was sent out to the members, because obviously we want to know what they're feeling. So we got some really good responses. So obviously we're going to do what we can to improve things moving forward. The other side of things was, there is a lot of work going on behind the scenes. There's a big feel that DOs don't get the profile that they deserve. That members of the public don't understand our role, or so I think we're obviously going to try and have a big push on that as well, to try and raise the profile of the DO and the important role that we do.
Excellent. Okay, so that focus on member engagement is going to be very important to us, but informed by that evidence that we've gathered from members through the survey and the telephone interviews.
Just general feeling. I mean, obviously there's only so much we can do, but we will do our best as a board and as an association to get that done. So
good, thank you. All right, I'm going to do a summary of the election process in a minute, just to explain the steps that are involved. But before I do that, I'll just give you, Brenda, a chance to add any thoughts you have about ABDO's priorities and what you'd like to see for the future. And you mentioned that you've just become vice president, so that means in just under 2 years you'll be taking over from Kevin Gutzel as the president.
Yeah, exciting things ahead. I think my main goal, whether I achieve it or not, I hope I can achieve it, is to have national listing and show recognition for all our members. And I think that will open a lot more doors for a lot more things. I think it would be good to get a CPD grant for everybody in UK, not just in one area. And when I speak to people on practice visits, when I do these are the things that are coming across, that they would like the recognition with that, and they would all love the CPD grant. ABDO are always working behind the scenes to do that, but it's stuck by governments that halt it. It's not ABDO's work behind the scenes that are halting it. we are all working and striving hard to do that. I think what the other thing that people need to be aware of is that it is a vocational role and it is an unpaid role. You do get your expenses, but you don't get any payment for being on the board, but it's still worthwhile doing it. I think it's a really fulfilling position.
Yeah. So you're not going to be out of pocket, but you're not going to make money from it either.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
that's not why you're there.
No, exactly. All right. So in terms of the election process then, so we opened up nominations on the 1st of May. So you have until 14th of June to put yourself forward. And just in terms of who's able to stand, so it's all qualified members of ABDO, and you need to have nominations from 6 other qualified members, and you also need to write a submission of up to 250 words, just setting out your relevant experience and why you want to be a board member. So it's quite straightforward, really, to apply. And we'll post in the chat the links to the documents that you need to refer to. Yeah, so nominations close 14th of June. 12th of July, we'll send out ballot papers to members, and then the voting will take place over the summer until the end of August, which means that come the beginning of September, we'll be able to tell people whether they've been successful or not. And then the new board members will take up their roles on the 7th of November. That's the autumn board meeting. So that's when the changeover happens. And so, I mean, I think Lorraine mentioned that she's now in her 2nd term as a board member. You serve 3 years initially, then you're able to stand for a further 3 years. So you can be a board member for up to 6 years in total. Okay, so I'll also put my email address in the chat so that if anyone's got any questions afterwards, they can drop me a line. And it's worth saying as well that we've made clear in all our communications about the board elections, we do want to encourage nominations from a really diverse range of members, including those members who aren't well represented on the board at the moment. So that's something we'd like to stress. And what we'd ideally like to see is a really wide range of experience on the board. DOs, they work in practice, as well as in industry, academia, and different types of practices as well, both multiples and independents. So that's really the process, what you need to do. Worth just saying as well that there are 5 vacancies this time around. So that does mean that, if you do put yourself forward, you've got a pretty good chance of getting elected. So, don't think, I've got no chance. This is not something worth bothering with. I think, it really is worth putting yourself forward. So that was all I was going to say. I don't think we have any questions as yet. I mean, we don't have quite as many of you who've joined us this evening as last time. I think there's obviously been the opportunity to watch the video of the previous webinar. But if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to post those in the chat now, or by all means, drop me a line later. So I'll give you a moment to think and post any questions you have. But while we're doing that, I'll just go to the panel now. Is there anything you'd like to say by way of closing, Daryl? Anything that you'd like to conclude with?
I'd like to quote Brenda. So she hit the button right on the head. If you're thinking of applying, then go for it. Because if your interest is sufficient to even consider it, it's probably going to be something that you'll find really rewarding. You'll be well supported. I guarantee that. You'll be guided initially, but given the opportunity to actually make a difference, and that's a privilege.
Okay. So Brenda, Daryl's rather stolen your thunder there.
I know.
Anything you'd like to add?
I think the only other thing I would like to add is that you do get support from other members. The reason I went onto the board to begin with was past presidents encouraging me to do it, supporting me, and stating that you can do this, and you will be supported throughout. It is really worthwhile. It allows you to have a voice. It's really, really interesting to see the big picture. And again, just go for it. There's nothing to lose. It is really good. There's a good team of people there. We're all mixed at the moment, but it would be good to have it more diverse. Come and join us. It's great.
All right. So thanks, Brenda. So Lorraine, I'll give the last word to you.
Okay. I'm just thinking, you know, if people are there thinking, do you know what, why aren't you doing this and why aren't you doing that? If you've got that opinion, have a go, come on the board and then tell us, and then we can, you know, try it. If we don't hear your voice, we don't know. So, you know, join the board and we can sort something out. Yeah, and really it's, as I say, it's just a great place to be, really supportive, and we just want to it's really exciting the fact that we have got 5 new members coming on board, new ideas. I can't wait to meet everybody, and yeah, let's do it.
Great. Okay. So thanks to the 3 of you, and thanks to everyone who's joined this evening. Yeah. So as you said, Lorraine, great chance to have your voice heard and to influence the direction of the association for the benefit of members in the profession. So
Absolutely.
and don't waver, don't sit on the fence. If you're thinking you might like to do it, you know, give it a try, go for it, as Brenda has said. Yeah, hopefully that's been of value this evening. Thanks for giving up some of your time, and look forward to receiving some further applications. So thanks everyone. I'll say good night, and yeah, bye for now.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you.
Good night, thank you.